everyone, great to have you back. This is stage 2, class number 3, when we introduce our weights. The weights that I'm using today, as you can see, are 2 tins of chickpeas. You can use small hand weights if you have them. 0.5 or 1 kilogram is plenty, or just a couple of tins that you have at home. If you're using tins, you can put some elastic bands around the tins, and that can help make them easier to grip. So bear that in mind. Otherwise, just always be sure that you've got a secure grip of your tins. Okay, with that, let's get started. You can put your weights to one side. We don't need them just yet. Sitting with the legs crossed, tall and open through the body, and closing the eyes. Bringing your attention to your mind and body as you arrive into class today. We're going to do the same progressive breathing that we did in the last class. We were breathing in for 8, out for 8, and the same for 10 and 12. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Slowly, gently blinking your eyes open, taking in the light of the room. And then go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you. Remember, you can always use a cushion to sit on if you need it at all. We're going to take the legs slightly apart so that we can do our ankle circles. You can also place the hands behind you if you need that additional support. The focus needs to be on ease of movement from the feet up. So you'll remember this from our first class in stage 2. Let's change direction. And in our second class, we were doing the 4 sections of the feet. Hopefully you'll be seeing a little difference and feeling a difference in the mobility of the feet and the ankles. Then bring the legs together, because today we're going to do the bird on the branch. So you flex the feet, imagine that the soles of the feet are against a wall, and then curling your toes over as if there was a branch there, or a pole, or a pencil even. Then we're going to spread the toes away from each other. So they're opening wide away from each other. And then curl them over the branch. Take a look at your feet as you're doing this. So when you're curled over, the big toe and the little toe joints should be on the same line. Often what happens is we curl forward. So make sure you're on the same line, and then spread those toes out, big toes coming together, all the other toes spreading and ricocheting away from each other. Curl the toes. This is your last one. And then go ahead and spread as far as you can away from each other, and release there. So the next thing we're going to do, as usual, we're going to come down onto our back for the abdominal massage. So you can use your cushion under your head if you still feel that you need the assistance, or perhaps now the pillow is too much, you can use a folded towel, which is a little smaller than the cushion that you were using before, but still maybe gives you the support that you need for the ribs to melt into the mat and for the neck and shoulders to be at ease. So we're going to then do our abdominal massage, tilting the pelvis as you move the hands towards the belly button. We're going to do 3 times in each section. So we start belly button and then we go down towards the pubic bone, gliding the inner edge of your hip bones at the front. And then we do up the inner edges of the ribs. And again with that very gentle rock of the pelvis as you do it. And then let that all settle. Today we're not going to start with our pelvic clocks. We're going to start with the right leg extended and the left leg bent in towards you. Cup the left knee with your left hand, so the arm and the hand act as a guide and a support here. So today the circle we're going to do is in the hip socket itself. Instead of moving the pelvis around the thigh bone, we're going to move the thigh bone inside the pelvis in the hip socket. Think of stirring inside of the hip socket, imagining that it's filled with fluid, perhaps oozy, melty chocolate that you're stirring in the socket. And then we go ahead and change direction. Think here also about how the base of the pelvis is opening and yielding to let the leg move around. The sit bone opens away from the other sit bone. Last circle now, and then go ahead and extend that leg out. Feel how it's longer than the other leg, nice and open through the front of the hip, and go ahead and bend the right knee in. So you're cupping the right knee with the right hand, and we begin that gentle circle. Think about the leg being in the socket. We've talked before about that idea of an egg in an egg cup. It really slots in. But now we're also interested in the fluid movement of the thigh bone in the socket. Releasing lots of tension within the hip and the base of the pelvis. Be sure you're opening and crossing the body. Opening and crossing. Then we can change and go in the other direction. Allow your sitting bone to open. And the left sitting bone, it's lengthening down the leg as the right sitting bone's opening. Crossing as well as opening. Crossing as well as opening. Then we're going to come down with that right leg, extend it out, and hopefully it feels as long as the left leg now. Bend your left leg and keep the right leg long. You're going to send the left foot down into the floor and reach the shin bone forwards to gently roll yourself onto the right hip, and then roll yourself back across. When you roll to the right, it's a bit like you're setting off on bridging, where you stand on the foot and reach your shin away. You're staying open and forwards with that left thigh. There's a tendency for it to want to come across, but we're going to imagine butterfly wings opening at the front of the pelvis and then closing. Opening and closing. So you're fanning open the front of the hips and the pelvis. This is the last one. And then we're going to change over, noticing as you change from one to the other, the difference. And we stand on the right foot, reach that right shin forwards to go to the left. Feel that fanning open of the butterfly wings and the gentle folding in. Think about how delicate a butterfly is. Think about how softly and gently its wings would unfold and fold. On this side, you might also notice that the head is invited to move. Remember, we talk often about call and response and the invitation, and you can choose to follow that invitation or not. Here for me, the head wants to go in the opposite direction to the pelvis, and I'm just going to allow that to happen. You might find that the head is called to go with the pelvis. You do what your body's calling you to do, and that's the last one. Great job, everyone. Bending the knees, noticing how the pelvis now is in a more rested position. Your tailbone is fanning out more, and we haven't even done our pelvic clocks to do that. So now we're going to do hugs today. You're going to wrap your arms around you, looking for your shoulder blades. We're going to do this as like a release, the same way as we do the abdominal release. So the fingertips find the shoulder blades, and then you're rocking. So you're coming across the shoulders, across the back of the ribs. You're really connecting your fingertips to the inside edge of your shoulder blades or top or wherever you can reach to just help release the tension that might be holding your shoulder blades to your ribs here. Settle in the middle. Now check which arm's in front. I've got my left arm on top in front, and then I'm going to lift the arms up, and I'm going to switch and put my right arm on top. My right arm is closest to my head. I'm going to do the same thing. Rocking from side to side, really looking for your shoulder blades. Release the tension that is in there. Remember, we want our shoulder blades to be like wet, lathery bars of soap. And if they are stuck on the ribs, they're not going to be so smooth moving. That's for sure. Okay, and then we unfold the arms and just pause there with the fingertips to the ceiling and notice the connection strongly down to the mat underneath you. Now we get to pick up our weights. Make sure, like we said at the beginning, you've got a good grip of those weights, whatever you have. Could just be small bottles of water, or like I have, tins. And we're going to do our arm arcs, and wowzers, you can feel the difference having a little bit of weight makes. So as we're going over, it's the out breath if you can find it, and the ribs, they are melting towards the pelvis. The shoulder blades are moving around the armpits, so it feels like your armpits are expanding towards the ceiling, and then they close back again, just gradually as you bring the arms over. Let's do some scissors today as well. So you got one going over and one coming down. So here I'd like you to think today about walking. So if you were walking down the street, you would not be moving with weights in your hand, but you would be moving your arms in this alternating fashion. It might be smaller, you might go behind your body, but just imagine walking and feel how the image of walking creates a little more ease in the center of your body. Twice more. And then we can put the weights down for a moment. So we've been working a lot on our bent knee openings. Last time we were working in the previous class with one leg in tabletop position, alternating legs. So now we're going to have one leg there, and then the other leg is going to join it with ease. So there's no shifting or altering position. If it feels for you that there's a big lurch with the pelvis, go again. You have the stability and the mobility to do this at this point. And the other one comes up. So we're there. The thigh bones are dropped. You know it, like eggs in egg cups. So it's easy to be there because the weight of the legs are sitting in the back of the sockets. Now we're going to do opening, closing, opening, and closing. Now for some of you, you might feel that it's easier now with both legs up and symmetrical. Some of you might feel that it's more challenging. We're going to apply the breathing in to go out and out to come back in. Notice here the foot opens and you can have pointed toes. See if that helps, perhaps it doesn't. You notice for yourself, maybe you want to try flexed feet. But definitely take the foot with you as you do this. We're going to just do one more either side, and then we get to do something comforting and familiar, bringing one foot to the floor, then the other. Take your folded towel out, pop it to one side, ready for bridging. Told you, something comforting. Long arms by the side of your body, feet that little bit closer to your bottom. Remember, no tension in the knees. Stand into the feet, send your shins forward so the spine peels up. Breathe in and breathing out, melting down. Think of the ribs opening sideways to let the spine trickle through. And again, standing on the feet, sending the shins forward, let the legs lift the spine up. Take a deep breath into the back of the ribs. And then as you breathe out, lengthen your tailbone between your heels so that you're increasing the space between each of the vertebrae. Now we're going to do the side to side shift. You remember we worked on that last class where we were coming up to the top, letting the bottom come down just a smidge, and then you're going to go from side to side. We talked about sending the hip, pushing the hip to the side, the greater trochanter. We learned about that right at the beginning of stage 1. So you're going side to side. Come to the center, drop down a little, go side to side. Really emphasizing straight out to the side, no twisting. Come back to the center, down a little bit, side to side. It's one of my absolute favorites. I always feel taller and longer from doing this. Come to the center. We're making sure that the spine and the ribs are finding their optimal movement and alignment. Center down a little bit more. Because we know that if we're not moving freely and with even distribution throughout the whole of the spine, then that's going to create excess load through the pelvic diaphragm and the pelvic structure as a whole. And then down all the way and rest there. How lovely was that? So then we're going to move into a little bit of rocking. This is funny. So we straighten the legs out. We're beginning to introduce more rapid movement. So challenging the diaphragmatic system with, like last class, we did squats more quickly. So it's important that we're working for the stamina and the reactions to sneezing and coughing and running. Here we go. We have the feet flexed. We have the knees straight. They're not locked, but they are straight. Arms are heavy by the side. I'm going to pop my little towel back in under my head also because it's quite a rocking movement on your head. So you start to rock on your heels letting the movement travel all the way up your body. I told you, it's kind of funny, but it's absolutely fantastic. So those of you with children, you can be getting them involved in some of these exercises, and this is a really fun one to do with them. Allow your head to nod, let your jaw go, let the breath flow, keep going. Keep going, keep going. You're going to want to stop and it gets all funky, the rhythm comes and goes. Keep going, keep going. The movement needs to pass freely from the feet all the way up the legs, through the pelvis, through the spine, through the shoulders, through the neck and the head. Remember that biotensegrity model, that understanding that we are connected in all directions. Okay, and then gradually let that dissipate. Feel the tingling and the awareness throughout your whole body. Isn't that amazing? Okay, well done everyone. We're going to come on to our front now. Go slow, it can feel a bit funny after doing your rocking. So we take ourselves onto our front for pelvic clocks. So settling yourself into your front of body, resting your head, and just start with the forward and back, pubic bone to belly button. And as you're doing this, remember the marble image, rocking it, and then going from side to side. Find where the center is, and then go hip bone to hip bone. Again, straight across. Look for where that really is. Not where you think it is, but where you feel it is. And there we go. And then circling. Reaching still for the sitting bones, even here. And then go ahead and circle the other way. Feel that releasing of tension. And then settle the pelvis. Great. Legs wide, so we go out wide with the legs, and then we bend the knees, bringing the soles of the feet together, and then out. Soles of the feet, keeping the feet as low as you can. So it's our prone knee bends. Bringing the feet in, reaching the knees away. And this should be becoming more familiar and finding more and more access to the movement from doing it so many times. One more time. And then we're going to do knees together, and we're going to do out with the heels. Again, keeping the feet as low as you can and reaching the knees together. Great job, once more. And then you bring the legs to parallel, and it always just feels so amazing and easy through your lower back, which is going to help us now with our heel clicks. So like I said before, we're introducing more rapid movement, and this is one of those. We feel that length through the tailbone and the lower back, and also the width in the front of the pelvis. Now you know where your sit bones are, you know where your lesser trochanterus are in the upper inner thigh bone. That's where we're going to do a tiny movement from. So the toes are lengthening away, and the sit bones and the upper inner thighs are just levitating towards the ceiling. It's not the feet that lift, but they may come up. It's from the upper inner thighs. Imagine your hamstrings picking your legs up towards the ceiling. And lower. And up. And lower. And then we're going to lift and hold. And this is where we're going to do our heel clicks. Don't worry, it's not actually the heels. You're just going to close and open the legs rapidly. Like the adductor squeezes we did last week, or last class, where we were going more rapidly and looking for as much release in between as possible. and rest there. Wow, that's something, isn't it? So we're going to do dart next. Bring your arms down by your side. Bring your left cheek to the mat. So we did our half dart previously. So we're going to start with both hands today, turning those imaginary doorknobs, bringing the spine up now to the center, and then coming to the other side. So last class we looked at our diamond press and lifting up the scruff of the neck. Here we are lifting the scruff of the neck up, invited by the arms. Start with the hands, feel the spiral, turn those doorknobs, and that's what opens your chest. Heart forward, scruff of the neck up, and then coming down. The front of the pelvis is wide. It's like the butterfly wings have opened, and you're lengthening forward out through the crown of the head, gazing to the floor as you come up. We're going to do one more. I could stay here and do these all day. They're so lovely. And then this is it. Oh, lovely. Have a little stretch now. Bottom back towards your heels. Really sending your pelvis down towards your heels as much as you can here. And enjoying that stretch into your lower back and breathing into it. So we're going to come on to our side. You will need one of your weights in a moment, so bring that there. We've been working on some of the side lying leg work. We're going to start with the legs bent, setting the alignment, feet flexed. Let's have the hand on the hip today and extend now. In fact, let's do it where we lift the leg first. So let's lift the leg by pressing the bottom leg down. Then we're going to extend. Press that heel away. Open the back of the ribs out so the front of the ribs get drawn into them. And then point your foot. Take the leg a little bit behind you. Think about the heel clicks where we were just moving from the sit bone so like the hamstrings move you back. They don't just, but you know. Flex your foot and bring the leg a little bit forwards. Point and go to where you can. Remember your suspenders connecting the ribs to the hips. So as the leg goes back, there's going to be a feeling of wanting to push the belly button forward. And it's not that I'm asking you to pull your belly button to your spine, far from it. I want you to feel the lengthening that the abdominal muscles do to help you to take the leg back there. Pointing and reaching. The bottom leg is as significant now as it was when we were doing all of the other variations. Not only are we thinking about it going down, but we're also thinking about it going slightly forward. So there's a down and forwards that we can encourage in that bottom leg. It sinks and moves forward to counterbalance the top leg, to give us a feeling of increased stability and ability to open through the front of the hip. Now my leg started to drift a bit low as it's getting more tired doing the movement. So you can check that your leg is going in that straight line forward and back without losing or gaining height. That's the other thing that happens. All right, let's go ahead and bend there. Now, grab your weight. We've got a very good grip of it, and we're going to do our book openings. So here we are. We worked on this last class, progressing on from our thoracic rotations. Very much more challenging when we introduce the weight. So we're finding that spiral. The leg, that top leg is heavy and bringing you back. The idea of the shoulder alignment is even more important here because the weight could just make you fling your arm more. So we're looking for the spine leading and the arm following. This is what we talked about a lot in the last class. Once more. Wowzers, that was fun. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So we start with the legs, and then we're going to do the book opening again. So bending the knees, supporting your head, making sure that you are looking straight forwards. Often I'm looking at camera or looking around checking, so do make sure for you are looking straight forward. Go ahead and lift the leg. So we send the bottom leg down to lift the top leg. Remember, the inner thigh lifts the leg. And then press that heel away. We're going to have the hand on the hip unless you feel you need the extra support like we've done before, pushing up the mat. Open the back of the ribs. Feel the bottom leg connecting to the floor to help you to bring the top leg up. Pointing and going back, flexing as you come forward. I like the hand in the hip pelvic area so that you can tell whether or not you're shifting and moving from your pelvis, or if you're really using the mobility in the hip socket that we've worked so hard to gain. Flex as you go forward, that's it. Point as you go back, and don't worry, if you get that coordination back to front, nothing bad's going to happen. I'm just giving you what makes it easier to find the length at the front and then find the length at the back. And then again, thinking about the ribs and the opposition sensation of the leg. So the bottom leg feels like it's going down and forward as the top leg reaches back. Yep. And this is an area we're going to work more and more on, is the single leg work, finding that opposition. And you know too, this is just the pelvic half work that we've talked about since the very beginning of stage 1, the importance of the two halves of the pelvis. And this is a great example of that. This is the last one. And then we're going to bend that leg. Take your weight. Again, be sure you're firmly gripping the weight and take it out in front of you. Roll your head. Be sure it's your head that's moving first and your arm is following. The leg leads you forwards again, so the top leg. And again, rolling. And the leg leads you back. There's absolutely no point where the shoulder at the front of the chest or the neck is strained by the weight. Okay? So if it's feeling strained, it might be you're taking it too far. So just reining it back in again. Okay. Isn't that fantastic? Let's do one more. Book openings is such a nice one. I know we could just keep going. Oh, there we go. We're going to come onto our back again. You can take your little towel and pop it underneath your head if you need it. Okay. And then we're going to come and lie down, ready to go. So today we're going to do our adductor squeezes with the legs in tabletop position. So you take one leg up, let it drop into the hip socket so that then the second leg can lift and drop into the hip socket. So it's really easy to take the legs up. You sink it in and the foot lifts. It's not the foot lifting. And then you sink in and the foot responds. That call and response, it happens everywhere. Arms are long by the sides, and it doesn't matter if your heels are closer to your bottom or lifted in the air, just wherever you can be there with relative ease. And then we're going to squeeze and release. squeeze and release. Not only are you coming in, if you think right back to stage 1 when we were working on our strength and stability phase, we talked about the drawing in towards your sternum. So it's not your bum squeezing. We know this. That's compensation. We need to feel that the inner seam is zipping up to the sternum. So inside it comes in. That's what we're looking for. And then take your feet apart. We'll do a couple here where we're turned in. Isn't that fantastic? And then we take the feet down one and then the other. We're going to do some more bridging. So we take the towel out from underneath your head. We're going to go ahead and cross one leg over. So I'm going to cross my right leg over. I'm not going to go all the way over. I'm going to do the small crossover. The bridge happens as we've been practicing. So you come up into your bridge. You're then going to unfold your leg and come down. Put the foot down. Cross the left leg over. Come all the way up. So you're on one leg. And then unfold and come all the way down. And you just keep walking from one to the other. You bridge up, pelvis is level, it stays level-ish as you come back down, and then we switch, cross the leg, bridging up, uncross, coming down, and you'll know there's the one side that finds it harder to let go at the end. Uncross and come down. One last one. And of course you can continue with the leg crossed over, maybe for now. That's great. Isn't that fantastic? I love those. So we're going to carefully now come up to sitting. We've been working on the Cleopatra breathing. You're going to have your legs swept to the side. We're going to do a couple of breaths here just as a reminder, really. So the top ribs are opening up to the armpit, the bottom ribs are opening down towards the pelvis, and we press the legs away so we get the biggest, most incredible opening. Check your shoulders out. Did you see mine? They were in my ears. Remind myself to, and lengthening away. Now from here, the top hand is going to come over to the floor beside you, and you're going to open the top ribs now, the other side, to stretch. And keep the hand on the floor, roll across your hips like you're massaging the outside of your hip, that greater trochanter. You're just rolling over, and then mermaid. Cleopatra, I should say. It's like mermaid, it's a kind of hybrid. We're working on the connection of the pelvis and the spine. Okay, like we did right at the beginning, stage 1, we did all that rocking to find the mermaids. Same idea, but it's a bigger range. Go ahead and swoop to the other side. Yourself into position and taking the arms to the side. Again, get the push away with the legs and the reach away with the arms, the fanning open of the ribs, knowing your tighter side or the restrictions that you have. Yes. And then we come out of it into that lovely Cleopatra. So you're rolling on your hip, rolling, opening the ribs, rolling. So it's more dynamic, rolling across the pelvis. Push through the hand on the floor to come. So making sure that the shoulder blade As we said at the beginning, our slip slidey shoulder blade, like a lathery bar of soap, moving freely on the ribs. There we go, that's our last one. Okay, now we've got more fun ones again today. Sitting forwards towards the front edge of your mat, reach your arms forward and you're going to bottom walk like a child. Your bottom back, one pelvic half at a time, all the way away from your feet, and then bottom walk yourself all the way forward again. Whew, that's hard work, and it's like the massaging and things that we've done with the Z sitting, moving from side to side in our first class. Here we go. Getting taller, lengthening out your hamstrings, and then back again. There we go. This is going to help us, and already I feel like I can sit taller. It's going to help us to be able to sit in that position. Go ahead and cross your legs. We'll keep working on that one. Take your arms out. Remember our spine twist. Big, glorious spine twist from one side to the other. Thinking about the expansion, if you had a cloak on, you would be spreading that cloak out. That's the feeling that we're looking for with the ribs, out and around, out and around. So it's not tightly wound, it's out and around. The head can continue and you reach out through the fingertips to assist you. Continue the breathing, out to go back, in to return, out to go back, in to return. Once more either side, enjoying the movement through your spine. And then we're going back to seated. The knees are coming together, arms are reaching forward. And for the first one, we're going to just hold those weights out in front. This is our half roll back. We've been working on this since the beginning. Here we go. We press the feet, we meet the knees and roll back. Think about that first class where I tied myself round the waist with the dressing gown cord. It's the same thing here. Think of going over. And you're just holding the weights. Nothing exciting happening there. Go over your waistband. One more time. Over the waistband. You can pop those down. Then last class we worked on the frog's legs, this diamond position. Bringing all of the toes together. I like to sometimes just get in there and make sure that each toe meets its neighbor. The big toe, the ball of the big toes particularly, and the inner edge of the heel, so that your legs aren't flapping about, they're not resting, they're pressing. And the big toes then lengthen forwards to help us to come into our half roll back with the diamond legs. And you can see, I can see my thigh bones spiraling out like a frog and then spiraling back in, just naturally because of the connection that I'm making through the feet. And you may well feel the pelvic floor, abdominal muscles, some awakenings happening. This is so great. One more. You can tell I like this one because we're doing more repetitions with this. And then back up. Amazing. So we want to do a little bit more of the flexed spine movements, so the rounding movements. We've worked on our cat stretch, and now we're going to go somewhere exciting with it. So let's do a cat stretch, nice plain cat stretch. So you find your quadruped, you're spreading your hands, spreading your shins, and we do it like a Mexican wave. Tailbone leading, curving into the head last, tailbone leading out, head last. And again, out and around. Remember, we said in bridging we're looking to create more space between each of the vertebrae. Same here. Okay, let's go again, and we're going to hold that cat stretch to make it a really good one. Then bring your hands closer to your knees. We're in the cat stretch, the scruff of the neck, remember the importance of that, and tuck your toes under, gently rock forwards and back. What's going to happen is as you rock forward, your tailbone is going to want to uncurl. It may also want to uncurl as you go back again. It's a tough one. Keep rocking forward and back, really keeping the tailbone under. Keep the tailbone under. Keep it tucking under. More than you think. You think you're there, but you need to do it more. I promise you. And then release. Wow. Okay, so now we're back into our normal quadruped. You're going to cross your right leg in front of your left leg. This helps if we're all doing the same direction because we're going to do something with the arms. So remember this movement, rocking forwards and backwards. So the next thing we're going to do is we're rocking forwards and backwards. You're going to take the right hand and you're going to thread it through towards the ceiling. So as you go back with the pelvis, you thread your right arm through. Back with the pelvis, thread your right arm through. And just going a little bit quicker. Hip bones away from the thigh bones. Sit bones spreading away from each other. Remember all of the focus we did in the last class, and you'll have done it at least 3 times now, so you will have that awareness much more clearly. Okay, completely lost count there, but that's okay. We're going to do the other side. So same leg crossed over. We're not changing the leg, only the arm. So the pelvis moves back and we thread the arm through, reaching the fingertips towards the ceiling, reaching towards the ceiling, reaching towards the ceiling, reaching. Keep going, reaching. Let's do one last one, reaching. Okay, uncross your legs. Notice how that feels. Wow. And then left leg is in front. The knees are in the center. They're directly underneath you, but the left leg is in front. So we get the rocking forwards and back, sitting bones widening away from each other, feeling that opening through the base of the pelvis. Then the left arm threads through. And think of all of that goodness around the base of the pelvis. Threading through. Threading through. Threading through. Wow. And then last one, we'll switch to the other arm. So remember, same leg cross, other arm. So we're threading the right arm through. And you might feel like you're going to fall over now. There's usually one where you think, whoa, I have to wake up now. This is a lot more challenging for the balance. So remember, moving back. So it's the rock back as you thread through. Rock back as you thread through. Rock back as you thread through. Feel all of that amazing work and warming through the pelvis. Last one. Whew. Uncross your legs. Little child pose. Great. Now we come up to high kneeling. So we send the shins down. We come forwards. We're going to take one foot forward. So let's take the left foot forward. Now today, we're doing the same movement, the rocking, but we're going to turn in. So the toes and the knees are pointing to the right. So it's the left foot forward, but they're pointing to the right. And all we're going to do is that opposite arm and leg. You might find that naturally you start to come across the body, and that's okay. The back knee, remember, it's the shin. It's the shin back and down, shin back and down. If the arm goes, let the head go. It can be forward or it can be to the side. And again, it's the pelvic halves. You know, we're really getting much more out of the two halves of the pelvis now. Let's switch to the other side. Okay, so the foot is coming across, the knee is coming across, the hand is on the thigh, and we're rocking forward and back. And like I said, the arm might feel like it wants to go across and the body and the head can follow, or it can go straight forward. Be sure your knee is pointing over your toe, which is going to the left. Now, we're almost there, everyone. You've done so amazing. There's been a lot of extra additions today, and you've really done great with all of those. And once you've done it a couple more times at least, then it will get easier. So we're going to come up to standing. We're going to take our little weights and we're going to use these for our standing work. I like to stand on the floor if it's possible because you feel the feedback differently on the floor than on the mat. It's more unstable on the mat. Okay, so we were doing walking, one then the other, and we were talking about it not being on the catwalk. You're gonna do the same thing, but we're adding our weights to that movement. One and then the other, one and then the other. And of course, the higher you go, the more load that you have coming in to the center of your body. Now think about walking down the street. When we did the arm arcs at the beginning, we thought about walking down the street and we felt so much more ease through the center of the body. It's like magic, how the brain can help us. Okay, and then we're going to come into our squats. We were doing functional squats, taking the bottom back and down. It's just like those rocks forwards and back that we've been doing in quadruped, and we're going faster, keeping those hip bones away from your thigh bones, spreading your sit bones, for sure spreading those sit bones, making sure that the thigh bones are coming into the sockets like our egg cups a little bit quicker. So we're really building up the responsiveness of the diaphragmatic system. Last one, and standing up. Well done, everyone. Great class today. Amazing to see you all making such great progress. Remember, if there's any questions, anything that you need clarification on, you can just hop on into our Facebook group and I can support you there. And the other people who've been doing the course are at the same or different stages, they'll be there to support and give you advice and suggestions too. Amazing class. Well done, everyone. Thanks for coming.